What up, though? It's your boy Willie Styles in the car. Welcome to tonight's show. Chevy, you want to say what up?
Hello, everyone. Hello. It's trying times right now.
Yes, very trying times. We are having some. Well, I'm having some logistic issues. Poor Chevy's having some technical issues.
Oh,
So
wait.
bear
Oh,
with
wait.
us, because it's life, right? Life comes at you fast, and we can't skip another week. So we got to do this episode so we can bring to you guys Marvel's She-Hulk, and we're gonna be wrapping up episodes 2, 3, and 4,
Right.
so that so we can be ready for next week's big reveal of basically the next part of this series. So what I've discovered is this first few episodes are more of our introduction to She-Hulk, more of our introduction to the story, the basically what she's going through. And if you think about it, you start to realize it. It's like there's some nuances here that are kind of introducing us to her. Her getting used to being in the role, and then by the end of this series of episodes, she's more ready to be She-Hulk. So the next few episodes is going to be more of her getting into the actual action of being She-Hulk, and the things she's going to be facing, as well as I think we're going to be introduced more to our actual villains of the season. So we're going to talk about episodes 2, 3, and 4, and then I think that's all we're gonna have time for, because
Yeah.
that's enough content to go through. I did want to talk a little bit about, tiny bit about what just happened at D23, at least in respects to Marvel, if not Marvel, as well as other Disney projects. But we're gonna see what we do with these episodes and go from there. So
Yes.
in the meantime, Chevy, episode 2, which is I think was the shortest episode. What did
hmm
you think of that from a rating and a quick summary? What was your thoughts on that episode?
I will have to give that episode a 5 because uh it was like it ended right when it started getting good. In my
Facts,
opinion.
big facts. Yeah, big facts.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give that episode a 5.
Okay, yeah, I definitely agree. It like you said, it was feeling good. I still wasn't happy with the comedy part of it, but I was definitely feeling like the story was moving along. But like you said, by the time it got going, it was over, and I was shocked. I was literally shocked. I was confused. I was taken aback. I didn't know what to think. So I felt a little cheated in that
Yes.
episode, because it was so short, and but like I said, it did move things along. So I wouldn't give anything less than a 5. But it just was wasn't enough action in it. Wasn't enough story. It was just enough story to get us started.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
And to be truly honest, I felt like what they gave us, they could have done in episode 1, and split it up. Gave us a part of that in episode 1, and then the rest in the next episode, and kind of made those episodes longer, because I think it clocked in at like just over like 20 minutes and a few seconds.
Yeah, it wasn't enough with everything that was going on. Everything was kind of it felt rushed, like, even with the conversation with her and the Hawk,
Yeah,
um and the whole situation with Abomination, everything just kind of was like rushed, it seemed to
yes,
me. Like, I
very
get
much.
it. This is not a show for someone who, y'all basically saying this is not a show for someone who does not know Marvel. This is not a show for someone who does not know who these characters are. You don't have to know who She-Hulk is, but with all the cameos that they have in the show, you have to know. And I'm talking, you have to be old school
Yeah,
or watch the Incredible Hulk movies to know.
yeah, they
Because they
really
gave
catch it. They
you,
really catch it, right? Yeah,
yeah, they
exactly.
really gave you no information. It's like either you know who Abomination is or you don't. Either you know who Wong is or you don't. Either you know who the Incredible Hulk is or you don't. If you don't know, If you didn't watch those other two Incredible Hulk movies, you're screwed. If you didn't watch any Doctor Strange movies, you're screwed because they throw you in. This is not a show. What I'm realizing about this show is,
And Thor: Love and Thunder, or not Love and Thunder, Thor the Ragnarok, because a lot of the Ragnarok storyline it affecting this show as well.
really, I missed that. I feel
The
like you're gonna
the
have to.
Sakaar ship, yeah, the
Oh
Sakaar
yeah,
ship that came
okay.
throw him off the road, as well as when he's leaving on his little journey back into space, right? He talked about being on Sakaar a little bit, and then now he's headed back. So yeah, there's
I just realized what the significance of that helmet was that was in his house. It was the
oh yeah,
helmet that he was talking to in Infinity War. I didn't realize it until I saw the clip from Rick and Morty where they did a parody of Tony Stark recording the video to his daughter.
oh right. So you know what? That's the only thing that confused me, because that helmet, when I saw it, I thought the same thing. But then I watched a recap from another channel, and they thought it was Ultron's helmet. And I'm like, I swear that's Tony Stark's helmet from the ship, when he was, like you said, when he was recording the message to his daughter. So
No,
I
I
gotta,
think they was
I
just
gotta, I gotta.
wrong.
Yeah, I think so too. I think me and you are right. I think that's Tony's helmet, not Ultron's helmet. They were like, they thought it was Ultron's helmet and more of a, like, a reminder of what they had done. But then I'm like, no, I think that's more of his reminder, or his trophy of his, closeness to Tony, and that's his last, that last piece of Tony that he has.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So yeah, so episode 2, were you able to find that recap with the notes?
Oh
Because
well, no.
okay,
But I do kind of remember the episode now that we talking about it. Basically, it starts with her getting her first assignment for her new job because she got fired from her old job, and
right,
she starts with finding out that the boss wants her to represent Abomination in a trial because he's coming up, not trial, but he's coming up for a hearing
yeah,
to
for parole.
see if for parole. So it
Mhm.
starts with her going back and forth with herself about whether or not she wants to do this, but ultimately finding out that she really doesn't have a choice, and if she doesn't do it, she will no longer have a position there.
Right. Yeah, and then I think too, her thing was, well, I think she tried to use it as an excuse, but also kind of considered it too, was the fact that she had the conflict of interest with the fact that he had basically had this huge battle and tried to kill the Incredible Hulk, and so she's like, hey, I got to check with him, make sure this is okay with him, and so we got to see that interaction. And I'm sorry, guys, we are in the middle of a spoiler part of this. Had
You are breaking up.
sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Hey, DJ Stacy J. Hey, Sonny. How you didn't
So,
watch episode 3 and 4, Sonny? Oh, you're breaking up again.
I must be going through a bad area. Sorry, y'all.
Oh, you good now? I think.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so I was just saying about that conversation she had with the Hulk about the his feelings behind it, and he told her that no, they reconciled, they're good now, and that she should be okay with representing him at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So then we go to her going to the prison and actually meeting with the Abomination and actually talking with him and seeing that he's weird, but he's changed person. But also in the midst of her going to his jail site, a video comes out of him fighting. So like I said earlier, this show is really big on knowledge base of Marvel, because if you didn't see Shang-Chi, then you don't know that he was fighting in the underground fights when he found his sister. You don't know that when Shang-Chi went to go find his sister, or he found his sister in the underground fighting rings, that in the background, if you missed it, you would have missed it, that Abomination was back there, because even for that, to see that in Shang-Chi, you would have had to see Edward Norton's, wasn't that Edward Norton's Incredible Hulk?
Yeah, I mean, no, it's Incredible
Yeah.
Hulk. Yeah, 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 which was
You would have had to
the
have,
first movie in the Marvel series.
yeah. So if you never
Mhm.
saw the Edward Norton's Incredible Hulk, you still would have been confused as to what that monster was in the background. So this show really does play to your knowledge base of Marvel shows. So
Yeah.
because that scene was only a split second, but when we saw it in the movie theater, Devin was like, "That's Abomination. Remember that, because they're going to go back to that at some point." And so,
Mhm.
right, they pulled that
Yeah.
footage, put it on the news sites, and said this man is up for parole. But why would they give him parole if he's still out here roaming and fighting, and he broke out of the prison?
Yeah.
So, he's talking about how he's reformed. He's really weird. He has all these wives. He basically has a cult, but he showed her that he does. And this also brings us back to what we were saying in the first episode of not Incredible Hulk, but She-Hulk, when we were talking about how she was able to change back and forth.
Right.
But
Right.
um um Incredible Hulk, well, I don't know why I can't think what Bruce Banner is not, and he had to choose one or the other because he hasn't set with himself long enough to control and deal with himself to be able to do that. And basically, what the Abomination was saying, which I can't remember his real name, I probably should look that
Blonsky.
up. Blonsky was basically saying that he had a lot of time to sit with himself. I'm a changed person. The Incredible Hulk is a different person, because they were paying reference and homage to the fact that we do and have had three different Incredible Hulks. So, with that being said, he is set with himself and he's able to control himself. And then he proceeded to show her that he is able to control himself by changing into the Abomination and still being able to hold a conversation with her, still being able to, do these things, and basically saying, Wong is the one who broke me out of jail. Wong took me
Right.
against my will to go fight in this fight. If you find Wong, then you'll be able to prove that I didn't do anything wrong per se, and I'll be able to, get out of jail. But being that she is new to this whole
Yeah.
world,
And I
go ahead.
yeah, I was about to say, but I think that was the thing is that I mean, this in episode 2 she didn't hadn't known yet, but episode 3 that was the thing, was her not knowing exactly what had happened, and then like you said, having to track that down. But I think that too, to your point about Abomination being more or Blonsky being more in control, I think that it's interesting to think that all of these other people are having these either direct or quickly being able to control themselves, their anger and all that kind of stuff. It speaks to Banner's personality and his psyche.
Yeah, but not
I,
only that, he also said Wong helped him control himself. He helped him find inner peace as well.
mm-hmm. But
So
yeah, I think I,
that
I think that just speaks to his personality, where you got or Blonsky able to do it. She
you're breaking up again. You're breaking up again.
Probably be easier. But yeah, I think it's just definitely.
We lost Willie for a minute. Okay, he back now. But yeah, Willie was basically saying that all these other people are able to do it, but not Bruce Banner. And it does speak to his psyche. It does speak to the type of person he is, but also whatever. I mean, I just think maybe Hulk has a lot of demons, but not only that, Bruce Banner has a lot of demons, and also He a privileged white man, and I think they trying to make a point to explain that, but also explaining that Hulk was privileged too. You know, people didn't look at Hulk as a monster, even though he was tearing up the streets. He was a hero. He was deemed a hero before he even proved himself, you know, and he didn't have to prove himself to be a hero. He didn't have to, you know, show anything. And before that, he was a renowned scientist. Yes, he kept himself away because he was an introvert, but he was a renowned scientist. So that same thing we get on Tony Stark for is the same thing that Bruce Banner had inside of him. And that's why every time they had a love-hate relationship, just like him and Steve Rogers did. Him and Tony Stark and Steve Rogers had a love-hate relationship, but also Bruce Banner and Tony Stark had a love-hate relationship because they saw so much of themselves in each other. You know, they came to each other because they felt as if they were the smartest people around, but at the same time they also constantly butted heads because they saw so much of themselves in each other. Because, you know, he was a scientist and it looks like his family is pretty normal, you know what I'm saying? They haven't really expounded on Bruce Banner's family, and point frankly the movies don't either, you know, because we start at the point of reference. How did he become the Incredible Hulk? Hopefully, when he gets his show or movie, they'll expound more on him as a person so we can get a better understanding of why he can't control his Hulk. But I think there's something deeper there that has never been explored because we just want to see Hulk smash. And we understand that Bruce and Hulk don't mix. But now you're bringing these characters in and showing that they can control their powers after sitting with themselves, or because they had to control themselves their whole life. So it's nothing for them to switch back and forth. So it'll be really interesting because truthfully, I can't remember if they announced anything about the Incredible Hulk or not, but I think it would be dope for him to have a show and really talk about, and it'd be a time lapse show where they show him before the accident, how he was with people before, maybe some of his childhood, but it's a show that goes back and forth in time to show the different things that he went through as a young man, as an adult, as a child, being a scientist, being a world-renowned scientist, but then coming back and seeing him in Hulk form and seeing what Hulk got to deal with, but then also seeing what he got to deal with as a man, because being the type of man that he is, can you imagine also being a Hulk? When you're a normal person, you're weak. When you're a normal person, girls don't want to talk to you because you're a scientist. When you're a normal person, you know, you're not the one in the room that everybody's looking to. You're not that person. But then when you're in Hulk form, you're somebody. You left for a minute. But I was just saying, but then when you're in Hulk form, you know, everybody wants to be around you. Everybody thinks you're so cool. Everybody thinks you're so dope, but you're causing major harm to people. It will be interesting to see how that dynamic works in his head, because I would think that it would make him shun the Hulk in a way, because he's appreciated for his strength and his bravery in the things that he do, but in his normal daily life, just like what she's going through with dating, because as you get into the next couple of episodes, you see her dating and you see how people want her as She-Hulk, but they don't want her as her normal self. There are people that fade into the background. They're not people that her and her cousin Bruce Banner are not people that would be standouts. Tony Stark was rich. He was a playboy. He was smart and he was cute. Not saying Bruce Banner is not cute. I'm just saying that he had charisma, he had style, he had flair, and he had a lot of damn money. So people flocked to that. And I think him, because, you know, they show her family. Those are all fade to the background type people. So for those people, I would think that, especially since he's a man, it would be hard for him to accept that there's another person in his body that is more accepted than him when they're causing harm than he's accepted in his daily life. And that's probably why he's not able to change like the Abomination and She-Hulk. Oh, I can't hear you. You're on mute.
Yeah, I forgot I had to mute the to get the other phone away. But yeah, like you said, it's it would definitely be interesting to see a more background on him. But then also, I think that's that's the thing too. There's going to be a lot more involved with him and his family. But you make great points about why somebody like Bruce Banner didn't have the same effect as like a Tony Stark, but still was given all these privileges. Like you said, being made into a hero before he even had his time. And I, but I think early on in the first episode, he was trying to let her know though, like, hey, people are going to expect you to do certain things, expect you to be certain things. And I think that's what he was speaking to is like you said, people were trying to make him to a hero up front, but it was the expectation. And then now he's like, well, now I got to live up to this, that kind of
thing. Yeah. And also just the whole idea of, oh, you stronger than all of us. Right, you do it. You do it. You do it. But him as a man saying, this ain't right. I don't have no control over that person. Why do y'all want me to turn into this person? I don't like this person. You know what I'm saying? He's destructive. He's hurt people. He's killed people inadvertently that we don't talk about. You know what I'm saying? Right. And we accept this because he's the strongest of the group. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of sad when you think about it like that, but forget him because he's a white man living in America. Get over it in a sense. You know what I'm saying? You know, she has been thrusted into this life that she never wanted, that she never envisioned. In a sense, just like her and the girl from Miss Marvel, Kamala's best friend, she actually had like an issue with superheroes, but they haven't expounded on that. And it's unfortunate because they're making this show so comical that her actual feelings towards superheroes hasn't been expounded on other than the first episode. So that's unfortunate. Maybe they will dig deeper into that with, I think, what is 4 episodes left, or is it 2 episodes left?
I believe it's 4, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so maybe they will expound on that a little bit. I hope they do, because it did seem like she had a disdain for it. And I don't know if she had a disdain for it because she was thrust into something she didn't want, or because there's a connotation with being an Avenger. It's a privilege to being an Avenger and being a woman in America who worked hard to get where she is. There is a privilege that she never was able to take advantage of.
Right. And I think it's both. I think it's both, because I think that was the thing. She was fighting it from the beginning because I think she also recognized that her life would never be the same. But she was also looking at it from the standpoint of, I didn't choose this. This is not what I chose. I think what she liked was that the one little thing she could control was her career and her path in her career, right? That was what she found peace in, because remember, she was talking about
finding out that she only has so much control in that.
Well, now, because everything got ruined from the fact that she's now Hulk, right? Because her life was on the path she wanted it on. She was headed to being DA. She was headed to she had gotten all her accolades as this great lawyer. She's like, hey, I'm standing on my own board, on things that I chose to do, and now I'm helping people the way I want to help people. And then she was on this path, and that path was what she made for herself. Now this Hulk thing is sidetracking that and sidelining it. Right?
But I want to ask you a question about that. Do you think that was delusion, or do you think that's actually the truth? Do you think the version of her that she said she was and what we actually saw before people knew she was hawking out on the first episode and she had to save everybody, if it was actually factual, or if this was the delusion that she was projecting to make it seem like she had control over her life before she turned into a Hulk?
I think she did. I think she did, because I feel like the reason she was so adamant about getting back to life as normal was because life as normal for her was the little bit she had that she could control. Like I said, the reason I think that is that because she talked about the fact that being a woman, she couldn't control the way people treated her on the outside of that courtroom. Being in America, this perception of who she can be or what she can do was out there. And now all she did was say, you know what? I don't have to live by your perceptions. I can do what I want to do, and I can be who I want to be. but now that's being taken away from her. That's literally being stripped away from her. And that's what she was fighting. That's what she was telling Bruce, because remember, Bruce was doing the same thing to her. He's like, look, you're a Hulk now. You have to be a hero, and you got to live life the way I live. You got to do 15 years in this personal prison. And she's like, no, don't take away from me what I've already done for myself. The one little thing that I could do and control in my life, because all these other outside forces, I have no choice in being a woman. I have no choice in being, in a career that's men centric. I have no choice in how I'm treated outside of the courtroom. I have no choice in sometimes how she's treated in the office. She had no choice in a lot of things, but she had choice on being a lawyer, being a good lawyer, and then making her path through her career to where she wanted to go. And she knew that being a Hawk was going to either going to detract or sideline that. And what did it do? As soon as she transformed in that case, or in that courtroom rather, she gets fired. She can't get a new job because all these companies are like, all these firms are like, hey, we don't need the distraction. You can't be a She-Hulk and a lawyer. You can't do this. Now she's getting faced with the same thing she was fighting all her life. You can't, because this is not what people think you should be doing.
We talking today.
We preaching today. We preaching. I mean, it's funny for me because, me not being a woman, I got to get into the mindset of what she's thinking, why she's thinking it. And remember, we were talking about that, like, what do we miss as men in terms of how women are treated, how they live, what they live through, what they go through. And even, watching that first episode, when I was saying, what was so wrong about what happened at the bar? And you were like, hold on, let me explain to you why this is messed up. Let me break it down. And it's like, we as men miss that stuff because we don't have to go through it to begin with. And then when we see it happening, sometimes we don't know how to react, protect, or detract from that, because we feel like, oh, is it so bad? Like, yeah, that one little piece is not so bad. The problem is that this is happening over and over and over again. And it's happening to a point where it's bothersome and it's troublesome and it's problematic, right? And we don't get that because we don't have to deal with that.
Right. It's so true, because I watched all these different TikToks, and a guy, I don't know what he did. I don't know if he had a nice body. I think he had a really nice body, and he walked around without a shirt on, and women would catcall him. And I think he said, I never really understood until now. I feel so uncomfortable. I feel, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got a nice body. I want to show it off, but I don't think men really realize that until they put on some gray jogging pants.
Right.
Or they walk around without their shirt on and they got a really nice body, or they got a dad bod, and women like that. And the women, or you go to South Beach, or you go someplace like that where women getting tipsy, women getting loose, and they mouth get loose, and they make you feel the same way women feel every day, but even in those circumstances, it takes a lot for a woman to do that. It takes a lot because we know how it feels, and we don't want, but I know ever since the gray sweatpants thing came out, a lot of men be like, I ain't wearing gray sweatpants no more, because y'all ain't gonna be talking to me like that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I know Devin experiences it because he works in the plant now, and the women different types of women. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he get catcalled a lot in there. He get told different things, and he be like,
you get the comments, you get the approaches because they're assertive, right?
You're right. You got to be assertive woman if you're doing those types of jobs. And I think it shocks men. Like when a woman walk up to you and she touching on you, or a woman walk up to you and she tell you, this is what's about to go down. It shocks men, and you freeze, and you like, what the hell?
I know a lot of guys who say that they don't like assertive women because of them same guys are out here grabbing women arms and, hey man, hey, you don't want to give me your number, you this, that, and the other. And it's like, really, dog? Like, really? Like,
but it's so funny though that you say that. It's not just straight men that are assertive. When I first started, I used to have a lot of gay friends when I worked at Disney, and we would go to the gay bars and they would like touch my breasts or touch my butt, and I'd be ready to fight. And somebody had to pull me over, like, oh, gay men just do that because they wish they had it. And I was just like, no, that's not okay though. You
right,
know? He
exactly.
was like, no, but that's the culture. They don't mean nothing by it. It's just that they really think you are attractive. They really think you got a nice body. And so that just shows you the culture of what men are allowed to get away with. Even when you go to a gay bar as a woman, black, white, whatever, you still have to worry about the same things you worry about when you're out here in the, you think going to a gay bar, I'm a chill, I'm my girl might try to talk to me, but I'll just tell her, no, thank you, sweetie. But it's not even the women, you know what I'm saying? And it's still that same energy,
that same mentality,
that I can do and I can say. You get catcalled in the gay bar too. It's no different. I mean, it's cute, but you have to know the culture, because I had a few of my friends ready to fight.
Sonny said she participated in making a man feel that way and felt bad. Yeah, I mean, because you know how it feels. You understand how demeaning it is, or how like you say, or even if it's not demeaning to that person, they still feel shocked by it. They still feel like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with that. But not having it happen to you all the time, you also don't really recognize the level of uncomfortableness it causes when you're constantly getting bombarded with stuff like that. But in going back to the show, that was, she said that was one of the things that she couldn't control, but she had to control her reactions to it, right? And so now it gave her the greater control over her changing to the Hulk, being able to deal with the rage behind that, and the rage that she can gain from the Hulk powers and that kind of thing. So there's that. So that's why she's able to be more controlling of her situation.
Right. But did you see her face when he was able to change and still talk? I feel like her face was a fake of fear and shock, but also confusion, because she's also in her mind saying, but why can't my cousin do that?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And I felt that ever so slightly, because it's something that you really had to catch. But when they showed her reaction, it was like so many different emotions was going through her, because she was really just confused. Like, how are you able to do this? And you're the bad guy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So who's really the villain? You know what I'm saying?
right. We're gonna find out. We're gonna.
Well, he said it. The U.S. government, because the U.S. government put this in my body. I didn't do this by choice. I did this by force. I was trying to stop a criminal. That's why I did this. I didn't do this because I wanted to. I want to go home. I'm a good person. I'm a changed man. I was never a bad person to begin with. I was doing a job. I don't have anything against your cousin.
Right. And that's the thing, is like, when you think that you're the good guy in something, and then it's like, now you're in jail. Like, wait, how did
right.
So,
Same thing you can look at with U.S. agent. He was in the same predicament. Also, he had some issues in his head, but he still thought that he was doing the job, and he thought he was doing it for his country. But at the end of the day, the difference between him and Blonsky is Blonsky seemed like he's a pretty normal guy. He just really had the rage in him, and he couldn't control it, which makes sense because this was pre Iron Man, wasn't it?
Yeah, pre Iron Man, pre everything.
Yeah,
they had no clue what was going on. The only thing that had happened before that was the what's her name, Miss Marvel, but she wasn't that known at the time, right? This was still before anybody really knew, besides Shield, really knew who Miss Marvel was, or really knew anything other than Miss Marvel. So, but yeah, it was definitely was news to him that he was doing the work of the bad guy,
the devil's work. He was doing the devil's work.
But before we go too much deeper in episode 3, what was your rating of episode 3? versus or Jennifer Walters versus Emil Blonsky.
Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Uh, 3. Okay, so basically it's the Megan Thee Stallion episode.
Yeah.
I would have to say that I will give this episode a 7 because it was super cute. It brought in a lot of cameos. It had a side story in it. It still told the main story. And it was super cute. You know, I'm upset that the information about Megan Thee Stallion came out a day before the episode came out, because I would have just loved for that to happen. Exactly. And just to see that, because when I heard she was in the episode, I was like, she better be playing herself. Right. Because no. Right. I mean, thank you, Megan. I love you, but like, you can't just hop into no Marvel movie. Like, you know, I saw Harry Styles, but like, even with that, it's like, okay, let's see what you about to do in this Policeman movie. Let's see what you about to do in Don't Worry, Darling, because I need to know if you can act, sir.
Right, exactly.
I mean, the acting prowess of the Marvel movies are unmatched. I mean, you can say what you want to say about the films. You can say what you want to say about how they make the films. You can say what you want to say, but they have some of the biggest actors in Hollywood who have Academy Awards, have been nominated for Academy Awards, blah, 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 so on and so forth in their films. They have reparability in their films. And if you not coming with that acting, I can't mess with you, because there's one thing you can't say about a Marvel movie is they don't have no actors in their movies, because they do. So I just like, I hope she just playing herself, because what better character to play than yourself? You know what I'm saying? You can't mess up.
And then to find out it was somebody else playing her. That was hilarious to me. So I truly appreciate it, because you know me, I've been saying this even when I just talk about episode 2. I've been missing the humor. It has not been entertaining to me from that standpoint. I've been loving the insight and the flip of understanding a woman's point of view on being a hero and all that kind of stuff. But when it came down to this episode, it was hilarious to me. Not like laugh out loud, drop on the floor funny, but it was like just the little things. The little things made the difference. So I like that. Sunny said they experienced that with Captain America and Stark, and then she says that thankfully she didn't know beforehand, and it was a cute episode. She gave it a 7 as well. Yeah, I gave it a 7. I almost on the verge of 7.5, just because I really liked the double storyline.
Yeah.
Of it, because it made it feel like a full episode.
Yes. Yes, especially after they gave us that half episode
2.
Yeah, I felt like, okay, thank y'all for coming hard, having Megan in there, making it funny, making it relatable, making it. I just loved how the news stories kept like saying she was in a relationship with Abomination, like changing her names, like coming up with these ridiculous stories about her. I just thought everything was so funny, and also bringing Wong in there and he being so like serious. Yeah, but it's exactly. Like
that was what I was loving about it too. Was like the how Wong was with it, but was clueless at the same time.
Exactly, but it's so funny, like, to the point of we have to remember, like, that made me remember, like, Doctor Strange is, you know how they say of this world, but not in this world, but not of this world, or whatever, however they say it. Yeah. Doctor Strange is in this world. He knows this world. He understands how this world worked because he lived and worked in this world for many years, but we forget that the people who follow that path are not in this world, are not of this world. They just pop in and pop out when they want to. So they don't understand the concept of normal laws. They don't understand the concept of this and that. They just know what they know. And they serious about what they know.
They're serious about what they know. Because everything else is unimportant. Like you said, you know what? We got rules. Book of Ashanti. She's like, no, Book of American Laws. What are you talking about, though?
I was like, man, if you don't get the hell out of here, Juan.
Yeah, he knew better. He was tripping. But then too, you know, that was the thing too, was like we had Wong doing his thing, and then we find out about this Runa, her, and what she was doing,
and she's from Asgard.
From Asgard, New Asgard.
Yeah. And it's like, I love how this story is so layered with so many things. But like I
Yeah.
said before, this is not for the faint of heart. This is not something you can just jump into. This is not something you can just say, I'm going to watch this as a new viewer of a Marvel show. This is not the show to jump into if you don't have a knowledge base. And I think that's great for fans.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have
and that's why I was on that 7.5 Virgin, because I was loving the fact that they weren't trying to explain all this stuff. I was like, I can just sit back and relax and enjoy it because they don't have to sit here and explain, because they know I already know.
Exactly.
They already know that I know. I've been watching Marvel movies since Incredible Hulk and all the TV
first
shows.
One. The first one with the dogs.
So I've been watching it all. I've been catching every movie, every TV show, everything. So you don't have to explain nothing to me. And they didn't try to. They
no, it was just like, did you see Love
it wasn't
and Thunder?
Little gems. It was big gems.
Yeah. It's like,
so
did you see Love and Thunder? Did you see Doctor Strange? Do you know Megan Thee Stallion? Like, come on, come along for this ride. And basically what ends up happening is Wong comes as a witness to confirm why Abomination was taken, and come to find out, he like, oh yeah, I broke him out because I was trying to win this underground fight.
Right. Because he was trying to practice for his what do they call it? It's his
to be the Grand Supreme, right?
Well, yeah, to be the Sorcerer Supreme, to prove that he should be Sorcerer Supreme. And so so he's like, yeah, I'll come and I'll help you, let them know that I was the one that broke him out of prison. At first he's like, you want me to blank their memory out? It's like all his little solutions was like,
it's like, I can't do another spell to blank out people's memories. We just did that. It was a mess. Like, even that was just like, because Doctor Strange had to tell everybody Peter Parker wasn't Spider-Man. Like, nah, we don't need to do that. But even that, you laugh because you know what I'm saying? You laugh because you have those memories in your head because you watch those movies. And I really think that's a sleeper episode when you think about it, because of how much different stuff they put in there from previous Marvel movies and TV shows and stuff like that, because you really have to be a true fan to enjoy that episode, or really a Megan Thee Stallion fan. Like one or the other.
Exactly. So I definitely appreciated all those little drops, all those little gems, all those little quips and everything. And so I definitely, that like I said, that's why I was like, hey, this could be a 7.5 for me, because I was loving it every second of it, because I was like, this was made for fans. This was
it was made for fans. It definitely was made for fans. And I think it's dope that Megan Thee Stallion was in there. I think it was dope that Marvel even looked at her to be in that episode. I think that's dope, and that speaks to her as an artist, that speaks to her as a person. And I mean, maybe there's some future acting roles in her life, because she was on P Valley too. So I mean, she was on P Valley. She was playing a rapper or something like that. But maybe that's her next path.
Right.
It'd be dope if somebody let her do a voiceover for an anime, because she's really into that. But I mean, that episode was really good. She ended up getting Blonsky off.
Right. So it was, and the thing was is that she ended up coming up with the idea of using the inhibitor that Bruce had developed for himself, even though that created a plot hole. If a lot of people probably missed, is the fact that she asked him to do an inhibitor for her, and he said, I can't create a new one. But then she's like, do one for Blonsky, and he's like, got your back, no problem. Like, what? Wait, what? Like,
but I don't think it's a plot hole. I think it's a thing of a person who's alone in their journey, who wants to add someone to their journey. I think he could have always created one for her, but that's his cousin. He loves her. She now is on the path that he's on, and he wanted her to be on that path with him. And I think he wanted her to have to make those hard choices that he had to make in his life. And unfortunately, I think that's what that was. Sadly to say, I think it was a misery loves company moment.
That I know. That I definitely know. But I mean, to your point, I didn't think about it, that he basically was lying about this.
Yeah, he was just lying. That man a scientist and very smart, and got a whole bunch of Tony Stark money, because that's where Tony Stark money is. He was in that wheel. He got some of that money. He had to. That man ain't working no more. He ain't doing no
Right.
scientific discoveries for nobody.
Exactly.
He having fun in wherever they was.
Yeah. But back to the side story. What I was loving about the side story. This was Pug was representing Dennis from her former. Well, I guess when she was in the DA's office, he's assistant DA. So she was, representing Dennis, who had been tricked by Runa. Runa being one of the like light sprites or something from New Asgard, because she was, acting like she was Megan Thee Stallion. And it was funny to me because they were using his ignorance of himself as the defense.
Right.
Of
The fact that his ego was so big
his ego was so
that
big,
he would be
all
convinced
of
that he
it.
could pull Megan the damn Stallion.
Right. I thought that was so cool. Like that was just not expected. It's so unexpected. And it was definitely a funny way of kind of like bringing home like that case for him, and allowing him to kind of get through and get that money back from Runa. But it was also funny to me because every time she got a chance, Runa was like
playing
somebody or played him. Pug luckily got that phone call from Dennis like, hey, my truck got towed, and he looked back like, you're on, wait, hold on. Like,
yeah. And even when she tried to play the judge and her lawyer was like, Runa, you cannot do this in a court of law. You will go to jail.
Runa
and
was
running off, and then here go Megan Thee Stallion in the background.
Right in the back of the courtroom. Did not expect that.
I thought that was so funny. And then she had that fan. I showed that to my brother who not even into Marvel. He was like, "Oh, I will watch that." And then the little cut scene at the end with them twerking and her like Megan Thee Stallion, "I'll kill for you," and she's like, "Okay, dial it back."
right. She's like, oh, calm down.
And it was funny. The boss just saw them in the room twerking, and he just like, all right, I ain't gonna even touch that with a 10-foot pole. Right. Let me just go on about my day.
You don't even have to worry about it.
That was a cute episode. That was a funny episode, but it was also a very informative episode.
Yes.
That the people from New Asgard is just out here. First of all, they just out here because if I can remember from the end of the movie, was Tessa Thompson character still
king? Yeah.
Yeah.
She's still king of Asgard. Yep.
Yeah, but she ruling with they got her in bureaucracy so tough that people out here running them up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was about to say she doesn't even know what's going on because
they got her in bureaucracy.
Exactly, stuck in the red tape of being in government, and then I know she's it was something else going on with her office or whatever, but I know that it was like you said, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on.
And it's a lot of them. So it's no way that she can control all of that. Right. Because a lot of them, what I noticed about that movie is a lot of people was for self, and they were all coming to her with self wants and self needs. So that means the people that she has put in place in office to support her are not doing their due diligence. So that's why these people are out here running amok.
Yep, exactly.
Now I don't know how I got there, but yeah, that's my synopsis.
Right. Yep. So yes, like you said, we ended episode 3 with Banner going to space, Emil Blonsky getting off on parole because he showed that he can control himself, even though the parole board went crazy and scared and everything, but he showed that he could control his you know
what else was
what they call it, his changes and his changes back. He also then we also saw that Dennis won his case against Runa. Still thought he could pull Nicki Minaj. Still he thought he could pull Megan Thee Stallion, talking about, oh, she's back there. Let me go see if I can talk to her.
Exactly. Do you think I could talk to her? You think I could talk to her? And they like, no.
Right.
But you know what else was funny? The black lady in the hearing, she was like, now what you think? Her acting. I was like, she captivated me because she was serving black woman. Okay. That lady, she was like, get this man some clothes. Like, she was cracking.
Oh, yes,
me up.
Yes. The parole lady, yes. The head of the parole board. Yeah, she was, she was hilarious. I loved her. She was funny. And that was the funny thing to me too, is that the back and forth between the guy who seemed to already like, he's not getting parole, forget this, but she was more caring about the situation and wanted to understand where he was really coming from. And I thought that was kind of a nice contrast on that board to see that even though you would think that there'd be no chance that Blonsky's getting off, but there's a couple of people on the board that's like, what, let's hear him out. Let's see what's really going on. Especially after we got to hear his story. And I felt like, okay, well, hey, if Bruce Banner can forgive him, and looking at it from his standpoint of I thought I was the good guy here, which was true to a point. Now there was a little bit of omission there.
Yeah,
he wanted that power, and he wanted to be,
but not only that, he was trying to kill him specifically because he pissed him off on some damn Sanderson sister shit. Exactly. He was mad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he had a grudge to take
he had a vendetta.
Versus the way he's trying to portray it, like, I was just a victim in all this,
But I mean, what's the difference?
True that.
How many people have Avengers kill in the name of saving us that are unmarked graves, or people that still are unidentified, bodies that still have not been recovered, people who still can't be found because of the saving of all of us? You know what I'm saying? It's like, what's the difference? If he says he's changed, Bruce Banner's still walking, Falcon's still walking,
right?
Black Widow would still be out here. These people are still out here, and they've done more damage than good before they were Avengers, and they've done a lot of damage even when they were Avengers. So what's the difference?
Yeah, true that. Yeah.
You spending a lot more money to keep him in a cell than a regular person. That's for sure.
Exactly. So, episode 4. I'm just gonna go first on this one because this was the one that really got me, because I was like, it was funny. I absolutely loved what's her name?
Madison.
Madison with a
Y,
but not where you think.
Yes.
She was hilarious. I love that relationship between her and Wongers.
Yes, because Wong is forever now Wongers.
Exactly. And then we finally got to see a quick team up, Avengers style, or at least a Hulk style team up between her and
Wong and She-Hulk. Yeah.
So it had a lot of elements that I really enjoyed. Another opportunity for us to see a crossover of Doctor Strange's world into this world, as well as there was one other thing, the revelation that there's a deeper, darker underworld in the Marvel universe as well, which is going to tie in greatly into several movies and TV shows in the future. So lots and lots going on in episode 4. I personally gave it an 8 because I just loved it that much.
I'll say this. I didn't like the episode for the reasons you liked the episode. I mean, I did like Wongers and Madison, but I liked the episode a lot because of her dating and seeing how that works, and seeing how
that part too. I love that part too. I'm sorry. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. I'm sorry. Yeah. That's
her as a person, and just her going through the daily rigmarole, and them acknowledging the fact that she was dressing bad, because a lot of people were saying that in the earlier episodes. And I think highlighting those things and using the breaking of the third wall a lot in that episode really made it great, on top of it being funny. I just really like that episode because it just seemed like this is a show that I could watch 24 episodes of. This is a TV show. Like, I could watch this. Like, I could really see myself watching this and seeing all the guest stars, like a House or a Law and Order or a Grey's Anatomy.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Every week it's like somebody new coming in, and you're like, oh, hey.
Yep.
And what's funny to me, even though this is Wong's third appearance, his third episode that he's been in, I'm like, he's like a guest star at this point. My thing is, Madison is the cameo here now. Even though she's brand new to the MCU, but I'm like, this woman needs to stay.
Yeah, like she dope, because it's just like she a human who just like whatever about all this weird shit. Like whatever. Like
she's literally the Marvel fan that we would all love to be. That could be like, hey, I want to be just dropped in these worlds. And
she
then
kind of reminds me of Ant-Man's people that he rolled with.
Yes, exactly. They're just thrust into these situations, and they're just like, "Hey, we just got to do
I'm with it. I'm with it.
Let's go." Let's go. Too bad we won't see T.I. anymore in those, because he was hilarious in those movies.
Well, he not gonna be in no more movies.
And Ant-Man and Marvel, no, I doubt it. Because of the whole scandals and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's true. But yeah, I'll give the episode an 8 as well. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this show, and everybody likes it. Everybody who's not a woman hater likes it.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, even
all
people
the He-Man women haters are still out there, but everybody else loves the show.
Even my friends who are like super hard on Marvel likes this show.
Yeah.
So that says something about the show, and they should really capitalize on this and use it to their advantage and I'm not saying bring this into other shows, because the show does have a unique
it's got to be unique to this one. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I do think that whatever they capitalized here, they need to recognize that, because it's great, and I mean, it's better than like Deadpool to me, in a way, in a sense of like her breaking the third wall, because it's not so raunchy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, right, yeah.
Like I like Deadpool and I love Ryan Reynolds, but it gets to a point where it's like really his dick is hanging out. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that was necessary. Like
it's a lot. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we could have did something different, guys, and still got a lot of laughs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, I'd say I'll give the episode an 8 as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. So this episode was Donnie Blaze, or Wong versus Donnie Blaze. So it's basically Wong is upset that this cut rate magician Donnie Blaze is out there, using his 1 week of Kamertage training to.
I thought he stole that.
Yeah, I thought so too at first, until Wong got like what the heck? Like, well, he did steal the ring because I guess he left off with it, but I was confused why Wong didn't just take it back. But it's like, what the heck? Like, this guy is just out here opening portals, and people are basically getting, sucked up into these things. And I guess Wong had known about it, but was like telling them, like, stop doing this, and hoping that he would stop. And he, of course, isn't stopping, because every time his show doesn't do well, he's opening a portal or doing some kind of Kamertage magic. And so it was crazy because, this his name is Donnie Blaze, which is very close to Ghost Rider's name, which is Johnny Blaze.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, is he just playing off a Ghost Rider? Is that really his name, and he's related to Ghost Rider? So a lot of people are like picking up on that Ghost Rider, Easter egg. The fact that that Madison went to a deep, dark underworld and dealt with a spirit that wanted to have her sign over her soul, but she can't talk about it. Same thing that happened to Johnny Blaze. Will she become the Ghost Rider? Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, I missed all of that.
Maybe I'm throwing out an idea there that might happen.
I thought she was talking to the Baphomet. I was like, oh, that sounds like the devil to me.
I think she's either was talking to Mephisto. Maybe we finally have Mephisto in the MCU, or she was talking to the same spirit or whatever the thing is, or entity that's going to create the Ghost Rider. And maybe, this is our introduction to that part of the MCU lore, because we do have Ghost Rider coming up soon, in maybe a couple of years, right after Blade and all that, because Blade, Ghost Rider, Werewolf by Night, a couple others are all supposed to join up as a team. So yeah, we're gonna have a darker, like a Dark Avengers. So
yeah.
But yeah, so we see Blaze send Madison. Well, we didn't really see him send her, but he opened that portal behind her, and then she drops in on Wong out of nowhere.
Yeah. And I thought it was so funny, right? So you remember at the beginning of the episode when her dad comes over to her house after she was like, yeah, you guys want to see another Wong cameo. That's the only reason why you're here. Right? So then her dad is like, she's like, why do you have a shovel? And he basically alluded to the fact that he might have to kill some people and bury them. And exactly. I thought it was so freaking funny that when we saw Wong, he was watching the damn Sopranos.
Oh, right.
After they just talked about killing people and burying them. I was like, oh man, that was great.
I didn't catch that. That's hilarious. Yeah, I knew they was watching it, and somebody said that it was season. So somebody out there look up season 5, episode 12. That's the episode he was watching. So, but I think that she also ruined it for him anyway.
Yes, and I thought that was so funny. Yeah. I thought that was so funny. First of all, Wong watches TV.
Right.
First of all, he chills out and he watches TV and he's catching up on The Sopranos. And then here
Right.
comes Madison talking about she saw a goat-headed thing and she gave some blood and he dropped her here.
Right, right. And she knew that she was in different dimensions and everything. And she's like, yeah, the goat helped me out of the lava pit. And it was crazy to me because she was just so like nonchalant about it. Like she's like, what did she say in the court? She was like, I was a little scared.
She's like, I was a little scared. It was fun at first.
It was fun at
then
first.
It was scary a little bit. Then it got fun again. Then it got a little scary, but ultimately it was fun.
Like, I'm like, really? Like, this woman is not fazed by a thing. And like, how are you this borderline drunk, but not at the same time?
I mean, but like, not only that, like, is it because she drunk that she not phased, or is she always drunk? Like,
yeah, exactly.
But so, why are her and Wong friends?
How are they becoming friends that fast? Fast friends at that. Wong just working with what he got. He like
right, like damn, this man is lonely. Like
exactly.
She seems so annoying, but also so funny. But like also so like not funny, but like kind of funny as well.
Exactly. Exactly. So he decides to go to Jennifer. Is like, hey, look, we got to sue this guy, make an example out of him. Like, you can't be out here just doing this stuff, and we need you to take this serious because you're going to kill somebody opening up these portals, or you're going to destroy the fabric between realities because he's opening up portals to different dimensions as well. So so there's a lot going on there. Like you said, at that same time, she had what's the name? The dad come over about the situation that happened when she got attacked, and they tried to take her blood. I don't know if she knew that they had tried to stab her, but she was saying that they tried to attack her and all that stuff. She never called the police, and but she's like,
that scene was funny as well because she forgot what she was a hawk.
Exactly, exactly. So there was what was it the discussion about how best to go after Donnie Blaze and everything, but at this time too, now she's thinking about or now she's asking him to think about the fact that you're just bringing these people in, you're not having them sign anything, you're not having them take any secrecy things that's literally on contracts or paper. So it's like, hey, Wong's like, we didn't get it in writing. I can't remember if
they took a sacred oath.
Take a sacred oath, right? Exactly. He's like, that's all we had, right? But Jen is like, you know what? I'm gonna figure this out. So she ends up going back to the bar to Legalese, sits with Nikki, and then that's when she starts. They start looking at her dating profile. So we got our side story about her and her dating life and everything. And I think that was when that was the like Tinder like profiles that she has. She's going through those. I think that's when Nikki also suggested to her about making a She-Hulk profile outside of her Jen Walters profile. She's like, I want to date this myself, and she's like, well, everybody wants.
She should.
Right, exactly. But Nikki's like, hey, everybody wants She-Hulk,
Right.
And so she's like, let me see what happens with the Nikki profile or the Jen profile, and then later on she decides,
And I didn't even understand that guy. Like, why did he even come out with her? Like, it didn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
He was just an asshole. And I mean, she wasn't getting any bites on her profile, so she said, fuck it. I'm going to make a profile as She-Hulk. And she did, and she got hella bites. And she went on a lot of dates. And one guy in particular stood out to me. Not the cute guy she ended up taking back home, but because he was cute. But the guy who was asking her about, your skin is impenetrable and you're a specimen. And I kept saying, damn, I'm trying to remember, but is he one of them guys?
I know, I was doing there in that too. I was like, either is he one of those guys or is he working with those guys? Because like you said, the questions were just a little too specific. And
they were very
specific. The impenetrable part, I was like, wait a minute. Like,
I was like,
one of those attackers, because I don't think she really got a good look.
We'll be seeing him again.
I think so too.
He's either one of the scientists or one of the men or one of the people on the team that's trying to get that. And I believe they're going to get it. They're going to get it.
Yeah. Because because you remember that Bruce made a big deal about that, right?
Yeah.
First episode, he was like,
destroy, because he destroyed all the blood.
Yeah. So that's what they want.
but they can't destroy their blood.
Right, exactly. So so we see her start to figure out like, okay, yeah, I gotta be She-Hulk to get all the hits, but now she's getting some more what she thought was premium hits. But what was funny to me is that even though she now has all these men coming after her, they're all trash.
Anyway, and come to find out, like even the guy, the nice doctor who wanted to hear her thoughts and stuff, he wasn't that great either because he's a fetish guy. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, like he was cute. He was really cute. But he wasn't.
What was it about him again, Chevy?
He had really pretty eyes. But she took him back to the crib. You know what I'm saying? Right. She was. Obviously she ain't had none in a while. So she was being kind of creepy. But she
was definitely like, hey, let's see where this is about to go. And then all of a sudden, Wong shows up. They don't call her twice.
Right, because Donnie Blaze is over here doing some stuff.
Right, exactly.
That he ain't got no business doing because they done went to court. And the court that basically told them, look, man, you can't fight this. This ain't no case for real. Right, so he's allowed to practice magic. So he does it again. And this time some things come out of that hole that, start to grow and multiply. And it's kind of like
crazy. All them little demons.
What the hell are these? And what lasting effect is this going to have on us and wherever they're sending them to? Because that was my question. Like, maybe he's sending them to the cold because they can't survive in the cold. But at the same time, where he's sending them, are they dying instantly? Or are they going to wreak havoc on the place that he's sending to? Or is Wong going to go to that place and make sure they are dead? Like, what's the end game to that? And it's kind of like watching Eternals and knowing this big guy is frozen in the water. Like, where do we go from here? We can deny it and act like it didn't happen. Or we can acknowledge it and say that this ruined something else somewhere else. And now we got another big bad to fight because those dudes kept growing and it was a lot of them. So it makes me wonder, like, unless they die instantaneously when they hit the cold air, where are they going and what world are they wreaking havoc?
Are they going in? Exactly. Yeah, that's the question. Because they were just literally throwing them in there with no repercussion, right? But now I guess the question is that world part of our world, or is it another universe, or is this another dimension? Like,
or is this a desolate place that is a desolate place, and it's nothing there, and that's why you conjured it up so they could go there and die out, because obviously they live and multiply in a humid place, so they probably can't survive in that. It's just a lot, for an episode that we just had where it was just like, this is paying lip service to the fans. That moment for me was very confusing and left me with a lot of thoughts of just like, so, okay, y'all always be doing something that has lasting effects that y'all never revisit. And we don't have an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. no more. We don't have a low-level thing where we can see the repercussions of the actions of the superheroes when they make these decisions. So it's like, are y'all going to act like the Eternal is not frozen?
Yeah, exactly.
And you can see him off the map. In space. You can see this
about to say, see his hand sticking out, his head sticking out of the planet.
outside of Earth. Right. Or are we going to expound on this on a later date? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think
which episode 1 of She-Hulk finally spoke to what's going on with the Eternal sticking out of the planet. So
what? I missed it. What?
Yeah. There were some articles and some news tickers that talked about Wolverine, talked about a couple things. Yeah, it was crazy. It's a lot of little tidbits that are like blink and you literally miss it in this show so far. So yeah, so that's your homework, guys. Go out there and go find episode 1 where they talk about Tiananmen as well as they talk about Wolverine. There was another Easter egg in there too. Mostly headlines in the bottom, and then if you look at in their computer screens, headlines inside the screen, like ad lines in the screen.
Can you imagine living in a world like that?
God, not at all. Not at all. I mean, it's as cool as it sounds. It's also kind of scary.
I'll
Maybe a
probably be
little bit,
dead by
maybe a
now.
little bit fun, a little bit spooky, but in a fun way.
I'll probably be dead by now, just to be honest.
I would definitely.
We don't live in major cities, so maybe
Right.
we do live in a major city, but not like the cities that they always tend to attack.
I feel like I would have been a Inhuman. I would have got because I take a lot of fish oil tablets, the omega-3 tablets. So I would have ended up being an immortal. I'd have been in here stuck in a encasing, a cocoon until my powers freed me out of there. Hopefully I don't get the nuclear bomb hands or anything like that. So,
the monolith would have chose you, huh?
The monolith would have chose me. Yes, definitely. So yeah, I just know I would be an Inhuman for sure.
I'd probably be a mutant.
There you go. Exactly. So just waiting on my powers to manifest. That's all.
Right. Don't make me mad. I might explode this whole area.
Right.
You never know. I don't know.
Right.
I just don't want no shitty power. That's all.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't want nothing that's like I should shoot sparks out of my fingertips.
Right. Or some even worse than that. Like it's an episode of The Boys where it's a cartoon version of The Boys where it's different episodes in different like cartoon styles. And one of the episodes was a orphanage of all the kids who took the shot. And they got shitty powers, and their parents abandoned them.
Oh, that's right, because they couldn't market the kid because the kid wasn't marketable. I remember that. Yeah.
And I don't want to be one of those kids.
Exactly. I want to be abandoned because I got shitty powers.
One kid's power was that they narrated everything.
Narrated everything. That would be terrible. Like you just a kid that just won't shut.
Yes. And he had a deep ass voice and he narrated everything. Like
so basically, what's his name? What's my man?
Morgan Freeman.
So you saying this is the life of Morgan Freeman? So they could use it,
right.
Use it for good.
But
for the greater good.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
So basically she's dating, she's fighting. It's this team up between her and Wong where they go and save all the people who went to Danny Blaze's show and these little dog things with wings, and they're killing them, but they're growing at the same time. But Jen was about to go do the nasty before this happened, and Wong interrupted. I didn't understand why she wouldn't answer her phone. Bitch, you a lawyer. Like
right.
You get paid salary.
She was ready to get her GURP on. Let that woman be great.
She was ready. So
they call it death by snoo. She was gonna crush that man.
She really was. That was the snoo. She wanted the snoo. That reminded me of the episode where Marge got all the muscles. That reminded me of the episode where Lois got all her muscles, and it reminded me of the damn snoo. That's what it reminded me of when she picked that dude up and carried him
away. Exactly.
I was just like, oh my God, this is too much, Marvel, because y'all making me laugh too hard right now. So Donnie Blaze ended up saying, okay, you saved me, so I'm going to sign some paperwork saying that I will not use this magic because I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Right.
Jen got her some loving.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so cute. She woke up the next morning in her t-shirt and she made breakfast and she was so excited. And I was like, oh, they talked about like her being herself. That's so nice.
That's
he
what I
really
thought
likes
too.
her. You know, he really likes her. And then he wakes up and he's like, who are you? And I'm like, what?
My thing is, how did he didn't know who she was, though? I'm like, this is not, She-Hulk is not a person.
A person.
Walking around.
Like just walking around. I was like, so girl, you didn't put like pictures of you and yourself? I mean, like She-Hulk and you, so they could say, do I like her as She-Hulk and her?
No, she had a whole separate She-Hulk profile. That was the problem, I think. Even though he's got to be clueless to not know that.
No, he's weird. He's a weirdo. He's a weirdo. That's what he is.
Yeah. And that's the thing, I was talking to some people about this before, is that, a lot of people will seem great, for the moment. And then you realize that, they're only great for that moment, or they're only great for that one thing. And then the rest of the time they're either clueless or they're weird or that's all they want is this one thing. And you got to deal with a butthole the rest of the time. And so sometimes it just doesn't work out. It just doesn't.
But I
work
want to know what that man thought. So you thought you was gonna marry a woman who is obvious, because you know this woman is not being She-Hulk full time. You know this. You have to know this. So you thought you was gonna marry her. You thought you was gonna like marry her, and she was gonna be She-Hulk, and y'all was gonna have She-Hulk babies, and they were all gonna look like little She-Hulks. Like,
right.
what you on, my dude? Like, seriously. If you know anything about, you don't have to know who she is, but you obviously know who the Incredible Hulk is. Makes me wonder if you wanted to have sex with him, bro. Like, because you gotta know that he is a man too. Like, half the time when he walking with the Avengers, he walking as himself before he made the conversion to full on Hulk. Like, either you've been living under a rock or you just a creep. And I mean, even the nicest dudes can be creeps.
Yeah.
And I think
I've been a creep before. It's okay.
But I think from a woman's perspective, that's what that was speaking on. Like, a guy could only want you because you got nice feet.
Yeah, that's true.
A guy could only want you because you got long hair. You cut that hair off, he don't want you no more. A guy could only like you because you can fit in a certain size dress. But if you gain some weight, he will literally walk out the door. No conversation. Like, and that's what made me sad about that scene, because it's just like he didn't even want to sit down and talk to her.
Yeah, exactly. That's what made me sad about it too, because I was like, wait a minute, like, bro, like she it's not like she's ugly or like she's weird or like,
no, she made breakfast.
Got a different body, like
right. She made breakfast. She's a freaking lawyer. She has a nice home. She can take care of herself, and she is She-Hulk. That's a win-win. Like, it's not always you gonna go out with her and y'all gonna be a pariah. She can switch it up. Like, she's the best of both worlds, but because you're a weirdo, you don't see that. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Because you want what you want the way you want it. You don't see that. And it's so unfortunate, because at that point, even if she found out that nigga wasn't a doctor, even if she found out that man wasn't who he said it was, even if she found out he had 5 kids, she still wanted to talk to him. Yeah. Because we give guys the benefit of the doubt that they don't give us.
Right.
And it could be physical. It could be your credit score. It could be how you keep your home. It could be the fact that you let your dog eat the food out of the kitchen. It don't matter. A man will not give you the benefit of the doubt for minuscule reasons that you will give them a pass on.
Yeah. And I literally was just talking to somebody about this. Is that there's certain things people will overlook because they want something different from you. Being like, let's say they're not attracted to you, but they love your personality, your conversation, your what you have to offer from an intellectual standpoint. And it's like, that could be confusing to a person, but it happens, or you could be like that person that's like, oh, they want me to be in a certain job or a certain career path or something like that. But as soon as you change, you're like, oh, you know what? This wasn't what I chose. I want to be an entrepreneur, or I'm an idea person, and I want to go down this thing. You could be well off, you can have money, and they'll still be like, but no, but you're not working, or you're not doing this, you're not doing that. I literally just saw that on what is the name of that show? The Married at First Sight show. The guy literally was like, I got money, I'm good, I don't need to work. I just, but now that I chose not to work, just support me in that. The girl is like, nah, you need a job. Like, this man could be rich.
But see, it speaks to a level of maturity to me.
She's like, nah, you don't have a 9 to 5, so that's problematic. And I'm like, wow.
I just think it speaks to maturity. And also, I will say this from a perspective of a woman, and you may disagree. I feel like there are a lot of women who are immature who look at things from that perspective. But I think, to be honest, there's a lot more men who don't accept women as women would accept a man in whatever situation or circumstances they provide or bring. I mean, what's that man's name who passed away? Kevin Samuel? Was that his name? He had a whole show demoralizing women at where they were. And I mean, some of them women was out of pocket. I watched an episode or a clip where a woman had her nails done, her hair done, but didn't have a job, lived with her mama. She had 4 kids, and she wanted a man to take her that way, and she wasn't trying to do nothing, but she had her hair, her nails done. That's problematic. But at the same time, there is a man out there for her who will accept her just like that and will build her up. But it has to be a different kind of man.
Yeah.
And I think that we live in a society where, especially with men, because of societal norms or whatever they choose or want, that they'll be with a woman that's light skinned, but they like dark skinned women, and they'll be with that woman because she down for them and she rock with them. But he waiting on another woman, a dark skinned woman, to come along that he won't. And I'm not speaking to my reference. I'm actually switching it up because
I
this
thought you
happened
talking
to
about
my
me.
friend.
I'm like, damn.
No, I'm just talking like this happened to a friend of mine. She dark skinned and he wanted a light skinned woman, but he stayed with her.
Right.
Because until he found what he really wanted. And I don't know if it's I don't know if it's because men feel like they can't be honest with women. Because I also have a friend who's gay.
You got it right there. Yeah, that's what it is. We feel like we can't be honest with women. We literally, I'm sorry, guys. We don't went off. This is a whole new show. I'm sorry. We about to analyze this. So yeah, and I mean, it still has to do with what Jennifer went through in episode 4, her dating situation. But yeah, and that was the thing, is that, that's the thing. I've been talking to some of my friends about this, talking to, when I was dating, it was like, my biggest thing in the last year and a half, 2 years since I broke up with my ex-fiance was like, I decided I'm going to date and be honest about my dating, and to be honest about what I'm doing, and to be honest. And so I started trying that out, right? Because it's something that we as men just don't do. We just literally don't do it. And then to the point of the why, it's because we're like little kids when it comes to dealing with women, and the fear of what women think, how they react, and what they accept, right? Because what you perceive about us is what's most important to us. But then also how you react to what we do is what, either we fear it or we don't care about it. There's either one or the other. There's no in between. Then, I mean, there may be some in between, but for the most part, it's either one or the other. And then, the acceptance, that's something I still deal with, is the acceptance part. It's like, okay, how much do I tell you so that I don't feel like you are accepted? I'm sorry, something just happened. How are you accepting it? Are you accepting it because you just want to be with me? Or are you accepting it because, or you're not accepting it because you feel like I'm wrong, or so it's like that. I'm always in that weird space. But I think for most men, what we're going through is we don't want you to not accept anything. You know what I'm saying? We want you to always accept, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we know that with that acceptance comes standards, moral, there's requirements, things like that. So that's why we're quick to lie in order to get you to continue to accept everything we're doing, everything that we're about, all that kind of stuff. Because we want you to accept everything. The reaction, we don't lie or omit because we think it's a good lie or a good omission. We just don't want you to react to the truth.
Right.
We're afraid of what your reaction is to the truth.
Right.
So, a lot of that is that. It's just that. It's literally just that, Once we get over that, and once we get to a point where I'm talking about us as men, once we get to a point where we can be above that, we get more in control of our own lives, but also being more open, honest, and truthful with the women we're around, and then allowing those women to be, have that choice to either accept, not accept, deal with, not deal with, walk away, stay behind, whatever the case may be. And things just go a lot smoother that way. Or even if it's not as smooth as it could be, the choices that are made are more like accepted. Like I made this choice versus you tricked me into this. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like you've been leading me off all this time when you could have just told me what it was. But what I do realize is interesting. I was talking to my friend who is gay, and he was like, well, I'll go on a date with a man and he'll tell me he don't want to date me because of my beard, or he'll tell me he don't want to date me because I'm too feminine. And I was like, well, good for you, because at least y'all can be honest with each other because y'all both men. You know what I'm saying? A man, like I was just saying, a man will date a woman who's not what he wants, and one day just up and leave, or be with a woman for 8 years, 10 years, 20 years, and never really liked her, never really liked how she kept her house, never really liked how she took care of her kids, never really liked how she paid her bills, but to stay there because she provides something for him, whether it's sex, whatever it may be, a cooked meal, wash his clothes, let him use the car, whatever it is, and he'll stay until he finds something better. And it's an abrupt thing for her because they never sat down and had a conversation about it. He just been, I hate it when men say, I learned you by watching you. You know what I'm saying? And I get it, but at the same time, you're judging me and making a decision about where you want to place me in your life. But that don't stop you from coming around. That don't stop you from having sex. That don't stop you from being in my face. When a woman is learning you by watching you, because we do it. We just talk about it at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
We but like say, I said, I don't want to do this no more.
and that's the thing is like you said, a lot of men are like they don't want to say anything because they don't want you to know what they're observing, or they don't even know how to talk about it. That's the other problem. Yeah. A lot of men are not emotionally or psychologically mature enough to even know how to speak on that kind of stuff.
Right, which is why that man walked out of that room instead of sitting down and having a conversation with her, because the truth would have hurt her. I'm not attracted to you, Jen. I'm attracted to She-Hulk. I don't want you. I want She-Hulk. I mean, but regardless if and this is what I be trying to explain to men, like, the truth will set you free. Yeah, it may hurt me in the moment, but at the end of the day, we can walk away from this clean, knowing that it is what it is, even if I don't like what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
When I've accepted you and however you are, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It is what it is. We judge because we human. But at the end of the day, a lot of relationships would be deaded well in the beginning if you didn't try to make somebody be somebody else. If you didn't try to observe them while judging them. If you just said, oh, I don't like how she played with her dog. I mean, I'm just using that because my dog's in right there. But I don't even like how she played with her dog. I don't like her no more.
Hey, Pepper.
But I'm a do right now. We gonna do this. We gonna do this sex.
Right.
I might impregnate her too. But but I don't like the way she played with her dog.
Right, exactly.
And I don't want to be with her because of that. But I ain't never gonna say nothing until I meet someone else.
Yeah, that's sad. That's completely sad. That don't make no sense. And that's my thing.
But it be as simple as that.
And even before I decided to just be like, okay, I'm gonna be doing this, and this. I was already like in my mindset of I'm not about to waste my time, let alone hers. I'm definitely not about to waste my time. I recognize. I mean, it was crazy. I dated this one woman, and she was great soul, great provider, great with her kids. She was a type that liked to cook, liked to clean, all that kind of stuff. But it was other things about her I just couldn't live with or couldn't deal with, and I didn't see a future in that. And I let her know, she was heartbroken, or not heartbroken, but you know what I mean. She was like, "Dang, like I got all these great things," and I said, "You know what? You do, and you're gonna be awesome for a man who can appreciate that, plus these things that I don't want, And at this point, I feel like it's no use in going any further. And it was literally within a few months. Actually, I don't think it was. Yeah, it definitely wasn't a year. It was like I feel like it wasn't 6 months either. But I feel like it was like a short amount of time, because I just felt like, hey, it's no use in me continuing something I don't see a future in and wasting your time, let alone my time. I definitely don't want to waste my time. I'm definitely gonna waste your time, because I always felt like I accepted certain things in my life because I was too afraid that I couldn't find something else. There's men out there who are looking for something else because they think they're going to find it. Right. I was always afraid I was never going to find anything else, and I just needed to settle.
Right.
And so I would be like, you know what? It is what it is. It's going to be the first and the last, or this is going to be the only thing I can, and so I found out like, no, I have things to offer. I have opportunities out here, It may be a limited opportunity, but there's opportunities out here, and I have to just be able to be okay with not having anything until I get that. And unfortunately, there's people out here who are thinking like, oh, you know what, I'm just going to deal with what I got until I find that. And it's like, that's not right, because you're not giving that person the opportunity to walk away from this, or you're not giving that person the opportunity to say, you know what, this is enough for me, and I'm good with what you waiting until you can find what you want, or whatever the case may be. Hey, they may decide, you know what, now that I know we out here looking for something else, now they know that they can say, okay, I got this for now, and I'm just gonna go, you know, do what I want on the side, you know, give them that opportunity, you know what I'm saying? So
but that's what you call growth, and it's a lot of immaturity. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how good of a job you got. I don't care how good you look. I don't care how good you dress. I don't care what you're driving. I don't care what you're living in. There's a level of maturity that comes with that. Like, that man was a doctor. Right. That man was a doctor. So obviously had a standard of what he wanted in life, but he used her as a, this is for play. But asking her, how was your day? How did that happen? What did you think about that? And that's misleading to women. You know, if this is what you about, be about that. But there's no rational thought in your mind that you thought you was marrying or exclusively dating She-Hulk. And it's unfortunate that you took that approach because you knew that's what she needed, because you're a good reader of people. You know what I'm saying? You read her like a book because you knew that's what she needed. And you gave that to her under false pretenses, because at the end of the day, we as viewers knew that when she woke up in the morning, she was going to be Jen.
Yes, exactly.
Now, you didn't know that, but you knew there was somebody else in there. And you led her on by feeding the needs that you saw that she needed. Right. You saw her body change when you asked her those questions. You saw how she loosened up when you acknowledged the issues that she was going through.
Did he say what kind of doctor he was? Was he possibly a psychologist?
I think he was a pediatric or something like that.
Oh, pediatric oncology.
Yeah. But it's like, even if he not a psychologist, he obviously could read her. He could read her, and he probably uses that to his advantage. Who's to say that's the only powered person he has ever had sex with? That could be a fetish for him. But when you think about it from a woman standpoint, if you're not horny and hot to get it, you saying in your head, what does a doctor really want to do with a She-Hulk?
Right.
I'm a normal person when I'm not She-Hulk. If I show him a picture of who I really am, will he want me? Or is this just a fetish for him? And I think in that moment when he walked out of that door, I'm glad we was able to bring this back around. But I think in the moment when she walked out of the door, she realized two things. These men ain't fucking with me as me. Right. But not only that, I need to do better about vetting these men before I give myself to them, because I hurt myself. I didn't have to do that. I could have talked to him 3 more times. He would have kept coming because he knew what he wanted. And when a man know what he want, he gonna keep coming until he get what he want.
Exactly. Yeah.
So she could have kept talking to him. Eventually, the truth would have came out if she would have just gave it more time, because she was hot and ready to go. She gave it up. And then she found out the truth, and it hurt her because she don't seem like the type of person to be giving it up.
True that. Yeah.
She been in the books.
She learned the hard way.
She learned the hard way, like so many of us do. And I mean, I say that for men and women, but I mean, it ain't no worse than having to learn that way when you done gave a part of yourself to someone else.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
So after the hot doctor leaves, she gets to knock on the door that she's been served with trademark paperwork from Titania, the superpowered individual that she had to defeat in the first episode. Titania has trademarked the name She-Hulk. And so she now has to deal with that in the next episode. The after credit scene involved Wongers and Madison with a Y, were not where you think.
Talking about alcohol.
Talking about alcohol. Like when they were watching This Is Us, and she starts asking him a bunch of like different drinks that he's had. She's like, "You ever had tequila sunrise?" Then she's like running through all the little fun drinks that she likes, blue caracha and gin and tonic and all this kind of stuff. And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I got vodka and yak milk," and she's like, I want to try yak milk. Okay. and then he's like, yeah, my favorite drink is gin and tonic. And she's like, you know what? I don't know where they have a bottomless gin and tonic, but I'm going to find it. so I'm looking forward to Madison and Wongers getting going on
lit together.
They can have some shorts. I think they should do some shorts.
They should. I think that would be great. I would think the awesome. Adventures of Madison and Wongers.
Yes, indeed. So that was She-Hulk's episodes 2, 3, and 4.
We did it.
We did a pretty good time. We made good time. It's only 10:35, and we went on a long tangent on a couple of different other topics. And we still got through 3 episodes, maybe because episode 2 was only
23.
There was only about 6.5 minutes of content in it. It is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, it's excuse me. It's episode 5 tomorrow night, right? Tomorrow morning. Technically, yeah. And
it sucks because it's LA time.
Yeah. So it's like 3 a.m.
Yeah, it's actually 12, but it's 3 for us.
It's 3 for us. Yeah. So 3 a.m. Eastern time. Episode 5 drops. We'll be back here. Should be next week.
Right.
This episode is 20 minutes. If it's 20 minutes again, we'll see y'all in a couple of weeks because I'm not about a 6-minute review. Forget that. We be having stuff to talk about. We got life things to break down for y'all. We are saving lives out here.
But it's so crazy that you say that because you never would think that like a Marvel movie, show, whatever, would actually be able to correspond or relate to life. And I mean, we gave all of these shows themes, and this is a show about woman suffrage, if you want to say, you know what I'm saying? And it's crazy when you think about these things because Miss Marvel was about people of color, you know what I'm saying? And the issues that they face. And I think it's really cool that Marvel are taking these shows and creating different themes surrounding each show and making us think about a fake universe in a relatable way to our lives and the things that we face as real people.
Right. Indeed. Definitely make it relatable. Speaking to us, right? In a way where we can understand. I mean, because like I said, I'm not a woman. I'm a man living in America. I understand the plight of minorities, but I don't understand the plight of women from a direct woman's point of view. And this show is a viewpoint of that. What was the other one? What is her name? Black Widow. Oh. That was another one that kind of gave us a certain viewpoint. But like you said, Kamala Khan's show, Miss Marvel, that gave us a viewpoint of not only people of color, but people of the Muslim faith and the things that they're going through. You're talking about a culture and a religion that we rarely see fully involved in either a TV show or a movie that in America. You know what I'm saying? We can see from their standpoint, from their point of view, what life is like. You know what I'm saying? So helping us to connect, helping us to see perspective, point of view. You know what I'm saying?
Even Moon Knight was about people who suffer from mental illness.
Yeah.
WandaVision was about grief.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just all these different topics and expounding on them in a way where it's digestible for people who don't probably get exposed to. I mean, but I ain't gonna say that because horror films, sci-fi films, adventure films, all of these types of movies and TV shows are able to take a look at things that would be hard for us to digest watching a regular just drama show. It would be too heavy for us to just sit there and watch. I mean, if we was watching Moon Knight and it was just this man who was suffering from DID and we just had to sit there and watch that, we wouldn't be able to watch that. Watching horror shows that's dealing with all of these hard-hitting issues or movies about all of these different things. Because most serial killers suffer from abuse and things of that nature. having to digest them things in a different way where you can actually gain entertainment from it, but also take it and expound on it and find viability in it is such a great thing, because it helps people be able to digest and talk about things that they wouldn't be able to talk about. Because you say, do you want to watch 12 Years a Slave, or do I want to watch Captain America show? I mean, Falcon and the Winter Soldier show.
Right.
I'm going to choose to watch Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If you want me to watch, what's a sad movie about? If you want me to watch Beaches, or you want me to watch WandaVision, I'm going to watch WandaVision. You know what I'm saying? If you want me to watch Malcolm X, or you want me to watch Miss Marvel, I'm going to watch Miss Marvel. You know what I'm saying? I'm not comparing these movies in any way. I'm just saying some of the themes in this movie are related to other movies. I mean, if I'm going to watch Girl Interrupted, or am I going to watch Moon Knight? I'm going to watch Moon Knight. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I don't want to take this and have to sit with it and be sad about it and be crying like I was crying when I was watching Selma and all of this other stuff, and have to be really like sitting here. Yes, this happened, and yes, I should watch this, and you should too. Right. But there's another way to digest these themes and talk about them,
because a lot of people don't want to digest it when it's so real and so in your face, or they feel like the realness of it is just too much for them. So giving them it, and from a fantasy standpoint, or from an indirect standpoint, one that they don't even see coming at them, like you said, it just makes it easier to digest, easier to talk about, because now you can kind of deflect to the other side and say, oh, this is something that we should talk about, but look at it from this standpoint, and not like it's really what you did, really what
right,
did,
right, or really what we actually went through. And I mean, there's so many shows that are fantasy, like Man on High Castle, which talks about Hitler and stuff like that, where you can watch it. But I mean, that show was hard to watch. The stuff that I watched in that show, the first season of watching that show, was just like, oh my God, like this is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? But then you watch X-Men and you see Magneto go through these same things as a child, and it's still hard to watch, but you can take a step back from that. So it's easier to digest, because this is not a real person. You know what I'm saying? This didn't really happen to this person, because he's not a real person. So now I'm able to talk about it, but still relate it to history and understand that what happened historically was wrong. And even in this imaginative world, what happened to this character is wrong. But now I can talk about it in a way where I don't feel like I'm watching an after school special.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I just supposed to be crying right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's been our show. Had a great time. We're gonna be back here. Like I said, we're gonna be back here next week for episode 5. In the meantime, make sure you guys check out all of our shows here at GFT Radio Network. The Monday show is on hiatus until October, I believe it is, or November, till November. But we will be doing our other various shows, such as the How to Hustle podcast with Heimp on Tuesdays at 2, Stylez and Shevy recap on Wednesdays at 9. Sex with Sunny Live will be back next week. She just dropped the show, her Girl Talk show last week. Great show. Make sure you guys go watch the replay. She'll be doing another show next week as well. The Fans Perspective, they just dropped the show on Sunday. Make sure you guys go check that out. They're around every other Sunday at 9 p.m. talking about sports and introducing our newest show, Stylez and Dane Presents One Crazy Month. We will definitely try to be back here on Sunday with some great headlines, as well as some different topics and trending topics that have popped up, as well as Gaming with Styles, where throughout the month, random times. Make sure you like, subscribe, share so that you can get the notifications. In the meantime, Chevy, tell the folks where they can find you.
You can find me at Chevy the Superstar on Twitch, S the Superstar on Twitter and Instagram. We are pushing our movie review of What's Love Got to Do with It back to next week, next Thursday at 8 p.m. We had a great 2 Snaps in a Circle episode last week of Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. If you want to go to my Twitch channel and watch that episode, you can. Also, I'm looking for people who, you know, like to talk about film, who would like to be guests on Two Snaps in a Circle. So reach out to me via DM or whatever to tell me
Serious
about you.
inquiries only.
Yes, serious inquiries only. Good internet, good mic.
Yes.
But yeah, that's me. That's where I'm at.
All right. It's your boy Willie Stylez in the building now. Get at me at Willie Stylez on IG and Twitter, Willie.Stylez on Snapchat and TikTok. I'm over at gamingwithstyles.com, playing video games whenever I can. StylesRadio.com for all the hot tracks that I'm listening to, and WillieStylez.info for all my links. Thank you again, Chevy. Thank you again, folks, for watching. And we are out.